was like, oh, I'm going to come from a place of love for myself and therefore a place of love towards you. And a lot of times, like I say, like, you just do you, boo. Like, that's where it comes from. Like, I can unattach from that thing that I used to attach to, that used to be my responsibility. That's not anymore. Again, this is freedom. Hello, beautiful people. Yes, I am talking to you. Are you ready to feel confident AF, free from the expectations and opinions of others, and create ultimate self-trust in who you are, what you say, and how you show up in every part of your life? If you answered a hell yes, I am, I guarantee this episode will empower you to be 100% yourself, 100% of the time, no shame or guilt needed. It's time for you to strut your stuff, express yourself with freedom, and fully embrace every freaking fabulous part of you. Let's dive in. Hello, my beautiful friend, and welcome to another episode of Road to Radical Visibility. My name is Rachel Freemon Sowers, your host, also known as the Break Free Bitch, because I am passionate about helping people in the LGBTQ plus and female communities break free from the social constructs, beliefs, and opinions that have been holding them back from creating and living their life exactly the way that they want to. If you've hung out here for very long, you'll know that my personal and professional mission is to help people be 100% themselves, 100% of the time, no shame or guilt needed. Today's episode will help you do exactly that. So the title of today's episode is actually, Yes, You Can. 3 steps to free yourself with yes this holiday and beyond, and why this is the perfect time to start doing this. There's lots of things that can come up for people during the holiday season. And oftentimes when we think about setting boundaries, or we think about doing something for ourselves, or having to have these parameters, we think that we need to be saying no to everything. But what I'd like to do is flip that on its head today and talk about how we can say yes. There's a few ways that we can do this that will allow us to experience the freedom and our lives in a totally different way. Now, why is it the perfect time for you to start implementing the 3 things I'm going to teach you how to do? Well, today, on the day that this airs, is the day of the new moon. A new moon is all about manifesting. It's all about identifying and intention setting on what you want, right? So let me read to you, according to Moon Omens, what this new moon is going to represent. It says, the new moon inspires us to say yes to experiences and learning journeys that strengthen our capacity to have faith in ourselves, to be pioneers, to take our own direction in life, and inspire others with our examples. It also supports our capacity to be courageous and bold. Okay, well, now is the perfect time when we have this energy going around us with this new moon that is supporting each one of us and creating courage and going the direction in our lives and having it turn out the way that we want to. Because remember, this is your life and you get to experience it the way that you want to. But there's things that keep us from doing that. Now, we talk about triggers during the holidays, but these can be any time. So we're 2 days out from Christmas. I don't know about you, but I have had experiences where I have had to go to houses and be around people that I really didn't enjoy being around. I needed to fake it, to act like I wanted to be there for the sake of other people, right? I had to, again, put my things on hold, my healing on hold, my own knowing and honoring myself on hold for the sake of other people's feelings. This is probably will not be popular, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't do that anymore. When I make a choice, I choose what I want. And I have chosen at times to not go places on the holidays. I have chosen things that weren't the popular choice. And other people had opinions and thoughts about that. And that is totally cool. Because at the end of the day, I am the only one living inside this body. I am the only one that's living my life. And there often needs to be shifts that happen. But how do we get out of the same pattern over and over again, right? So how do we help ourselves be empowered by the choice and say yes to ourselves? Say yes to, yes, I'm going to honor myself in knowing that if I, just a really practicality, if I start feeling like I'm uncomfortable in that situation, like I'm giving on myself again, I start feeling resentful, I start feeling all of the things that I don't want to be feeling, I'm going to have my own car there so I can get in my car and I can leave, right? Or, so those are some practical things because we're taught to be around these people. Like we're supposed to go to do things in the holidays and it's expected of us and we're trained to do it. I remember so many times when I was little, we would go to families' houses and people's houses and like they didn't really, people didn't like each other, but they acted like they liked each other. And everyone was miserable doing it. And then they walk away and then they talk about their experience and it wasn't a good experience. So why do we continue to put ourselves, not even just during the holiday season, but during all year long, into experiences where we don't enjoy it? Like, actually, we can say, yes, I'm not doing that. Yes, I'm honoring my own knowing. Yes, I'm honoring my own desired way of being. And so I'm saying yes to me, more than I'm worrying about meeting expectations or staying in huge dysfunction in systems. It takes some courage and some boldness to break free from some of these things. But the exercise I'm going to lead you through in just a couple minutes will help you start creating a new pattern. All right. So I am proposing that you, during this exercise, or I'm inviting you actually, to change and shift the way that you think and the way your body feels. So why does it feel such a struggle? How do I say yes to myself to change the way that I get to experience this upcoming holiday, literally in the next couple days and throughout your whole life? And how do I empower myself with the choice and the realization that, yes, I can. Yes, I can choose this other thing. And everything will be okay. And I will be safe. And I will be able to experience life differently. Okay. So here are some of the reasons why you keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And these are the things we need to shift it and to change it. So you want to do something different. Okay. So the number one thing we need to do is we need to realize that the only reason you feel you can't is because it's a pattern. And it's not who you are. The reason you think you can't is because it's a pattern that you've always done. And it doesn't mean who you are. Like, it's not your personality. Like, these are things that have been taught to you that have been then created as your personality. But a personality is just a patterned way of being that you now take on as an identity, which it doesn't have to be an identity, right? We get to have the realization that this is a pattern. So your personality is only who you have become up until this point. And if you have some tension inside of you, if you have a part of you that says, we really don't want to do this, if you have a part of you that says, wait, there's something else that's meant for us here, or this can shift, or this can change, that is the truest self part of you saying, hey, this doesn't fit anymore. Hey, I'm ready to shift it. If you have that, which I am sure that you do, and you have this feeling of tension or angst or anxiety or depression or all the things, that is a sign that you're ready for a shift. All right. So you realize that your personality is only who you have become. It's not like this end all be all. We know with epigenetics and science that our personalities aren't set. Okay. So realizing you were taught to be this way and you learned it, and it can be unlearned. So you have had experiences in your life that have said, if you do these things, if I act this way, if I go to my family's house and I act like I'm having a good time and I sacrifice what I truly want, everything will be okay and we will be safe. That is just a pattern because you have been taught that that's acceptable. Maybe it's acceptable in your family system. Maybe it's acceptable in a friend system. You know, we have these ways of being because we were taught to have them, and you can shift them. The third is to realize that the judgment you feel about being this person is a sign that you're ready for change. So I don't want to be this person. I don't feel good when I'm this person. These are signs to change. The judgment you feel about yourself was what you were taught to feel about a person who was like this. If you want something different, you will have a whole different judgment about it. The judgment will be, I can't do it. That person is egotistical, overly confident, loud. Like, right? When you start to say, I want something different, the part of you that's patterned that says, I'm safe here, says, we can't have that. And this is why. So you have judgment on both ends. So it's really important to create an awareness that you have a judgment and to recognize the judgment as only a patterned way of thought or being. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It means that you've been taught to believe a certain thing about a certain thing. Let me know if that makes sense. Okay, so one, you're going to realize that the only reason you feel that you can't have or do or be this thing is because it's a pattern. Not because you're not worthy of it, not because you're not enough, not because you're too weak, not because you're too damaged, you're too traumatized, you're too all the things, right? It's just a pattern and we can shift it. So that's the first one. The second one is you want to create an awareness of what you want and get comfortable with it. Okay. This is one of the things that people think is the hardest. And I'm going to push a little bit here, is that I wonder what makes it so hard. So I want to recognize that it's difficult, but I also want to recognize it can be and eventually feel super easy. So you want to create an awareness of the identity that you want or what you want to be being in that time and what it would be like. So what would it be like to go to my family's house and not feel like I'm having to do something not feel like it was so hard? I want to be able to go to my family's house and I want to be able to say, this isn't hard for me. I don't have to be impacted by other people in this space. I can come purely as my own self and feel no shame or guilt for that. Now, you may not want to go to your families and you may say, this is what I want. Like, I want to not go. I don't want to feel pressure. I want to go when I want to and not when I don't. And I want to feel safe and okay about that. I don't want to feel bad about that. Okay. So it's kind of like, how do you create the feeling that you want? So what would freedom for me look like? What would freedom of choice for me look like? What would love for myself look like? What would honor for myself look like? And that can help you identify what you want and what you want to be experiencing. The second part of this is that you need to be ready for discomfort. It will come, and you have felt discomfort before. So a lot of people that work with me, they work with me because they can stand the feeling of discomfort. And they get used to that feeling as not something that is bad, but something that is an indicator within themselves, right? So it's just like anything. When we stop a habit, when we learn something new, when you learn a new skill, a new tool, sometimes it can feel more difficult in the beginning because we are shifting what you believed to be who you are into somebody who you want to be. So those feelings will be like, hey, I don't know if this is good. Well, so-and-so is going to be offended, or what will they think? Or all of these things, or, so-and-so is going to say something to me. I had an instance last night when I was invited somewhere and I said, oh, thanks for the invite, but we probably won't come. And the person just kept on going and going and saying, well, you can do this and you can come and it's going to be this. And she was trying to sell me on this idea. And I thought to myself, listen, like, I'm not going to be coming. Like, I have other things that I want to be doing. And to realize in that moment that it was okay for me to say, no, seriously, thank you for the invite. It's very kind of you, but we won't be attending. Because the need for her to continue to sell me was her feelings of either some level of rejection or her feelings that I felt like we were going to be alone or whatever. And that was more about her. So then at the end, when we're departing, she's like, oh, well, and don't worry, you don't have to come. And I'm like, hey, listen, this is in the middle of a public place. I'm like, hey, listen, it's not personal. I don't need to justify why I'm not coming. You don't have to feel sorry for me or for us or whatever. It's a perfectly great situation. So it's kind of like, get ready for that discomfort that's going to come when you say, oh, no, really, thank you so much, but I don't really want to attend. And to be ready to see that other person's feelings about it and let them own those feelings. Now, you'll notice this in yourself during this discomfort, where I used to not be able to say any of those things. I know most of you feel like, oh, Rachel, you've been able to say this all the time. And this has been years of consciousness, years of intention, years of courage, and building up and telling my body that it's okay for me to say no to someone's face and allow them to have their feelings about that and not have that on me and not to take that from them. It's not my responsibility, right? So the discomfort is, hey, wait, I don't have to take the responsibility of other people's reactions, other people's thoughts or feelings about it. I can have my own and sit fully confident in that without an ego, without aggression, without kind of this aggressive nature of having to fight. No, I'm cool with it. And that's cool, right? Get ready for this discomfort when you have a shift. There's parts of you, and I talk about it all the time. You can check out some of my other videos and podcasts. But these parts of you that are saying we have to be this way to be safe. We have to do these things in order to not feel threatened or a lack or not enough or unworthy. We have to protect ourselves. There comes a point when the truest self says, I am the nurturer. I am the ultimate caregiver for you. And we no longer have to feel that way. And that's what happens when you can say these things. So be ready for that discomfort. And then you want to visualize or mentally rehearse how you want to experience something. This is something that I've done for years now, and I continue to do it even more. And every single time I do it, it up-levels my experiences. So what will it look like for me to be on stage? What does it look like for me to take my own car to a holiday event? And what does it look like for me to tell my wife, hey, listen, this is why I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing. And so I just want you to know. And then for me to get in to tell her, hey, this is uncomfortable for me. I'm going to go ahead and head home. And I love you and have a good time. And for me to go home and be at peace with that. I rehearsed it. I literally saw myself every single step of the way. And I did it over and over and over again. I do it now with wanting to speak on large stages or stages with a lot of, speaking to a lot of people at public events, to be on here with you, to be on video constantly. These are the things I rehearse. These are the things I visualize. When I visualize that, it's not only rehearsing it through the cognitive part, but I'm allowing my body to bring in the emotion that I want to feel. When I go to leave and I'm in my car, I want to feel calm. I want to feel proud of myself. I want to feel confident and I want to feel free. This freedom of being able to make my choice that is best for me. So visualizing and mentally rehearsing. Okay, so the second was create an awareness of what you want and get comfortable with it. The third one is this: choose. I know, short and sweet. And you're probably saying, Rachel, well, that's easier said than done. And you're right. At times, it is definitely easier said than done. And it can be done. A lot of people say to me, we reach a point in our work together where the last thing that needs to be done is the choice. So when you realize it's a pattern and you take the judgment out and you can see your judgment without feeling bad about something, you create this awareness, you identify what you want, then you choose. And the choice is reinforced with you come from a place of love instead of a place of lack, unworthiness, not enough, shame, guilt, embarrassment. When I was just speaking to that woman at this place, I came in my verbalization of my desire came from a place of love for myself. Now, I've gotten a lot of flack for this because people say, oh, you're just thinking of yourself. You're just selfish. Actually, yes, I am thinking about myself because when I come from a place of love for myself, I come from a place of love for other people. So in that moment that I came from a place of love and honoring my own knowing, I was also being able to see this person's feelings and thoughts and allow her and love her to have those for herself. And there wasn't judgment. There wasn't like, oh my God, she's making me, I feel so bad. It was like, oh, I'm going to come from a place of love for myself and therefore a place of love towards you. And a lot of times, like I say, like, you just do you, boo. Like that's where it comes from. Like I can unattach from that thing that I used to attach to, that used to be my responsibility. That's not anymore. Again, this is freedom, right? So you choose to come from a place of love instead of the place of the feeling that you don't want to have. And you come from a place of love for self first. The second part of choosing is you stop waiting for the time that you get it. Now, this is kind of, hopefully I'm going to try and explain this as well as I can. So you let go of your predetermined future. So in your past pattern, if I do this, then this happens. Or when I do this, then my predetermined future is I'm not going to be able to speak my truth, or I'm not going to be able to not attend. I'm not going to be able to, right? So we stop waiting for an external stimulant to shift or change, and we shift and change internally. So we create the internal stimulant. The internal stimulant is the emotion you want to be feeling. When that emotion is tied to the visualization or the rehearsal of a certain thing, you then begin to train the body that it is okay to feel that thing. Remember, your brain doesn't know what's real. You tell your brain what's real. It can't tell the difference between a mental rehearsal or a visualization or what is actually happening to you in reality. There's tons of science that backs this up. You can do the research. There's research about bodybuilders that actually don't lift a single weight, and yet they visualize themselves lifting the weight. And then they go and test, and they test stronger than they did before without lifting any weight. There's a really famous study about people playing the piano. There's a sample size that actually practiced the piano, and there's a sample size that never did, but visualized themselves playing something. And therefore, The people that visualize themselves playing that thing were able to play it just as well, if not better, than the people that were practicing. So there's science behind this all of the time. And this is the beauty of our brains. This is the beauty of our mind-body connection, right? And it allows us. So we stop waiting for my family to behave a certain way, for my wife to behave a certain way, for my friends to do a certain thing, for my whatever. And I say, oh, I'm creating this within. And then the reality shifts, because that's what I then go towards, right? So you stop waiting for the external stimulant, you generate an internal stimulant. And then you create the feeling internally and take action. When you practice this about internally stimulating yourself to be feeling and doing what you want, you can recall that feeling at any time. And you then take the action towards that thing. So the first couple times, and this is actually something I did, I would drive my own car. I would drive my own car. We would take 2 cars. I would drive my own car. And the first time I left, I rehearsed it, right? I visualized it. I created that feeling around it, how I wanted to feel when I sat down in my car, when I turned it on, when I drove out of the driveway, right? And I'm meeting my own needs. The first time I did it, there was some resistance. I'm not going to lie. Be like, can I really do this? And I needed to say yes. I needed to listen to my knowing. I needed to listen to my truest self and say, I am doing this thing. When even those parts of me were like, I don't think that we can. Someone's going to be upset, blah, 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 yada, yada. Whatever stories had kept me safe before were no longer keeping me safe. And it became that was more tension than shifting. And I needed to say yes to myself. So during this next couple days and beyond, give yourself an opportunity to choose and to have the experience. And if when you have the experience, there's still parts of you that feel unsafe, it is your job to say to them, the truest self's job to say, you're safe. I am here with you. It's like you almost ultimately become your own ultimate nurturer. I had a visualization, as many of you know, I've been doing my own deep work around this. And literally, I shared a video about it a couple weeks ago, and I'll probably do another episode on it. But where I had this realization that I didn't have to justify what I wanted now and who I wanted to be by something in my past. And so when you have this and then you truly lean into it, lean into the choice. You have a choice. And if something inside you says we don't, the truest self says, yes, we do. Yes, we do. And we can do this and we will be okay because of it. Right? Okay. So those are the 3 kind of steps that can walk you through this process. Now, it's going to take practice. The more you visualize yourself doing it, and you can do this for work, you can do this for friends, you can do this for whatever. The more you visualize yourself, the more you're telling your brain that's what's real, the more and easier it will become. That's why I use visualization and mental rehearsal so much with my clients. Releasing some of the subconscious also and tapping into the things like the lunar cycles and all of the things that help support us and us being 100% ourselves 100% of the time, no shame or guilt needed. I want to encourage you to try this practice out. If you try it out, I'd love to hear from you. You can put it in the comments below or even DM me and let me know what was the most inspired part for you. If you tried it, how that went for you. And because I'd love to hear and I'd love to support you in any way that I can. All right, so I'm going to end this video and this show like I end every single video. Please make sure to stay true to yourself, be kind to others, and always, always, always honor the wise one that is within you. I hope you have a wonderful next couple of days over this weekend and that you continue to practice this throughout the rest of your life. Until then, bye. Hold up, don't go yet. If this episode inspired you to be 100% yourself, 100% of the time, no shame or guilt needed, even just that little bit more, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. I'm here, and I know you are too, to make a positive impact in the world. So don't forget to share the love. And if you were left wanting more of this type of kick-ass content, then don't forget to click the like and subscribe button. Until next time, make sure to stay true and be you. Until then, bye.